The vast emptiness of space stretched before Captain Tom Miller as he stood on the bridge of the USC Pathfinder. Earth's scout vessels weren't built for comfort, just function. Their job was simple: patrol the edges of the solar system and make sure humanity's tiny corner of the galaxy remained safe. "Captain, we're picking up something strange," said Jack, the sensor operator. His eyes narrowed at the holographic display. "About 500,000 kilometers off our starboard. It's big, really big." Tom moved to the sensor station, his brow furrowing. "Asteroid?" "No, sir. It's moving too precisely. Changing course slightly to avoid debris." Jack looked up, his face pale. "Sir, I think it's a ship. And it's heading toward Earth." In 2157, humanity had spread to Mars and Europa, but hadn't encountered any alien life. The United Space Command maintained that we were alone, or at least, alone in our neighborhood. If Jack was right, everything changed today. "Battle stations," Tom ordered, his voice steady despite the pounding in his chest. "And get me a visual." The main screen flickered to life, showing a distant object silhouetted against the stars. As the Pathfinder closed the gap, the shape became clearer, unmistakably artificial and impossibly large. "It's at least 2 kilometers long," reported Anna, the navigation officer. "No energy readings. No signs of life. It's just drifting." Tom stared at the massive vessel. Its hull was dark metal, covered in strange geometric patterns that might be writing or decorative elements. Parts of it seemed damaged or missing, giving it an abandoned appearance. "Send a tight beam message to command," Tom said. "We've found an alien vessel. Requesting instructions." The response took 20 minutes, light-speed communication had its limits. "Pathfinder, you are authorized to investigate. Approach with caution. If hostile, retreat immediately. If abandoned, secure for salvage operations." Tom gathered his boarding team, himself, Lisa Reed, the ship's engineer, Dr. Marcus, their science officer, and 2 security personnel. They suited up in the airlock, weapons secured but accessible. "Remember," Tom said as they prepared to cross the void between ships, "we're making history here. First contact might have already happened, just not with the living." Their shuttle docked with the alien vessel at what appeared to be an entry point. Lisa worked the tools with practiced precision, bypassing what might have been a locking mechanism. With a hiss of equalizing pressure, the door slid open. Flashlights cut through absolute darkness, revealing corridors that dwarfed human proportions. The ceiling soared 5 meters high, and doorways were wide enough for 3 humans to walk through side by side. "Whoever built this was either very big or very grand," Dr. Marcus whispered, his voice filled with awe. They moved deeper into the ship, their boots echoing on metal floors. Every room told the same story: advanced technology, stripped of critical components. It wasn't combat damage, it was methodical removal. Lisa stopped at what appeared to be an engineering section. Her hands traced over consoles covered in dust. "This power core, it's intact. The principles here, I've seen theoretical papers on this. Quantum manipulation at a scale we've only dreamed about." In what they assumed was the bridge, they found information displays, dormant but preserved. Dr. Marcus discovered a repeating symbol throughout the ship's systems. "If I had to guess, this might be the ship's name," he said. Hours later, they made their most significant discovery, a database that, when powered by their portable generators, displayed what appeared to be a ship's log. Dr. Marcus worked feverishly with his translation algorithms. "It's going to be rough, but I think, yes, I'm getting something." The final entry appeared, translated into halting English. "Vessel void cutter declared obsolete by High Command. New shield harmonics make this design useless in modern combat. Decommissioned and stripped of essential components. Abandoned to drift as per Protocol 7. Glory to the Brill Dominion." Tom looked around the massive bridge. They threw away an entire battleship because it didn't meet their latest standards. Lisa's eyes gleamed with excitement. "Captain, do you realize what this means? This technology, even outdated by their standards, is centuries beyond ours. If we can understand it, adapt it. We need to secure this vessel," Tom decided, opening a channel to command. "This is Captain Miller. The alien ship is abandoned. Requesting permission to declare salvage rights and prepare for towing operations." The answer came swiftly, "Permission granted. Prepare the vessel for transport to Jupiter shipyards." As the team worked to secure the ship, Lisa managed to restore emergency power to a small section. Lights flickered on, illuminating the bridge in a dim, blue glow. The enormity of their discovery suddenly became visible: control stations for weapons that could likely level cities, navigation systems designed to cross the stars. Tom looked around at the now dimly lit vast bridge and smiled. This is just the beginning. 6 months had passed since the discovery of the alien vessel. Now renamed the Relic by the human engineers working on it, the massive ship sat in a custom-built dock orbiting Jupiter. Earth's finest minds had been gathered for what many called the most important project in human history. Lisa Reed stood on what they had identified as the ship's main engineering deck, surrounded by holographic displays showing power conduits and system diagnostics. Her promotion to lead engineer had come as no surprise to those who had seen her passion for the alien technology. "Basic life support is stable across all 17 sectors," she reported into her comm unit. "We can maintain Earth-normal atmosphere throughout the primary decks now." "Good work," came Captain Tom Miller's voice. Like Lisa, he had been permanently assigned to the project, his knowledge of the ship's layout proving invaluable. "Any progress on the engines?" Lisa sighed. "Still a mystery. We understand the theory, but the practical application." She shook her head, though Tom couldn't see it. "They're beyond us. For now." The ship's weapon systems presented an even bigger challenge. They had identified massive cannon emplacements, missile bays, and what appeared to be energy projectors, all stripped of key components, rendered useless by the brill before abandonment. Tom now spent his days with military strategists, trying to understand the ship's original purpose by studying its design. "It's a frontline battle cruiser," he explained during that day's briefing with Admiral James White. "Built for both fleet combat and planetary assault. The main cannon could probably crack a planet's crust if fully powered." "Could we restore it?" asked the Admiral, his eyes gleaming at the possibility. "With current technology?" "Not completely. But Lisa's team is making progress." That progress accelerated when they discovered an intact database containing maintenance procedures. The brill had left them, not out of carelessness, but arrogance. These were considered so basic that they weren't worth deleting. "It's like finding an instruction manual written for children," Lisa told her team as they pored over the translated documents. They thought these systems were too simple to bother hiding. That simple information allowed humans to understand the fundamental principles behind the alien technology. Each small breakthrough led to bigger ones, and slowly, the Relic began to wake up. In the command center overlooking the docked ship, USC leadership debated its future. "We should take it apart," argued General Peters. "Study each component separately. We could advance our technology by centuries." Admiral White shook his head. "And throw away the most powerful ship humans have ever possessed? No. We restore it. Add it to Earth's defense fleet. If we can even make it work," Peters countered. "We have to try," White insisted. "Intelligence reports show increased activity at the edges of our system. We're not alone out there anymore." The argument ended when White received authorization from Earth Command to proceed with full restoration. In the ship's power core, Lisa and her team prepared for their biggest test yet, activating a secondary reactor system. The massive chamber hummed as energy began to flow through conduits that had been dormant for who knew how long. Power levels at 10%. 15%, holding steady at 20%, reported Lisa's assistant. It's working. The lights throughout the ship brightened as power flowed through long-dead systems. On the bridge, Tom watched as consoles activated, displaying alien script that their computers now partially translated. None of them knew that light years away, a Brill monitoring outpost had detected the energy signature, a familiar pattern they had thought long gone. Within minutes, a scout vessel was dispatched to investigate why their discarded technology had suddenly come back to life. The relic wasn't just being reborn. It was sending a signal into the darkness: humanity has arrived. 1 year into the project, the relic was transforming under human hands. Lisa and her engineering teams had taken an approach no Brill would have considered. Instead of trying to perfectly replicate the original alien technology, they merged human systems with Brill components in creative hybrid solutions. "The power coupling won't accept our materials," said Rick, one of the engineers, examining a failed connection point. Lisa nodded, thinking. "Then we don't replace it. We bypass it. Connect our fusion regulator directly to their power distribution node." "That's not how it was designed to work," Rick objected. "Exactly," Lisa smiled. "And that's why it will work for us." This unorthodox approach yielded unexpected benefits. Human quantum computers, while primitive compared to Brill technology, created new synergies when integrated with alien navigation systems. The ship's defensive shields, once considered irreparable due to missing components, now functioned at 60% capacity using adapted human technology. Captain Tom, now promoted to Admiral, made a crucial discovery while reviewing tactical databases. The Brill didn't abandon this ship because of a design flaw, he told Lisa during their daily briefing. They changed their entire warfare doctrine. They moved toward speed and stealth, making this vessel's raw power approach obsolete in their eyes. "Their mistake," Lisa replied. "Power never goes out of style." In the massive weapons bays, engineers installed modified human nuclear missiles while Lisa's team worked to understand the Planet Killer main cannon. Rather than replace missing alien components with exact duplicates, an impossible task, they designed hybrid systems using principles from both technologies. On the bridge, Tom and Lisa stood watching as the main engines powered up for the first time. The entire frame of the massive vessel hummed with energy. The Brill thought this ship was useless because they couldn't imagine different solutions, Lisa said as displays lit up around them. "That's humanity's greatest strength, we don't see limitations, we see possibilities." Outside the solar system, the Brill scout vessel slowed as it approached, sensors extended. It detected the energy signature of weapon systems never meant to function again, power readings from a ship declared dead. The hunt had begun. The Brill scout vessel entered the solar system cloaked, its advanced stealth systems making it nearly invisible to conventional sensors. But the Relic, now officially renamed USC Defiance, was no longer using conventional systems. One of Lisa's hybrid detection arrays, combining Brill sensors with human pattern recognition algorithms, detected the faint distortion in space. "Unknown vessel at the edge of Neptune's orbit," announced the sensor operator. "Moving fast and trying to stay hidden." Admiral Tom took his place in the command chair. Despite having only 70% of systems functional and a skeleton crew of 200, it was time for the Defiance to prove its worth. Battle stations. Intercept course. The massive ship moved with surprising grace, its engines pulsing with blue-white energy as it accelerated toward the intruder. The Brill scout, realizing it had been detected, attempted to flee while transmitting an emergency signal to its fleet. The Defiance fired its forward weapons, but the shots went wide, the targeting systems still needed calibration. In engineering, Lisa monitored power fluctuations during the battle. She noticed something strange in the sensor readings. The Brill ship is using frequency patterns our shields recognize, she said over comms. They're compatible with our original systems. Can we use that? Asked Tom. Yes, Lisa's fingers flew across her console. Recalibrating our shield harmonics to create a feedback loop, there. We've created a back door into their defenses. Tom didn't waste the opportunity. The next shot from the Defiance slipped through the Brill vessel's shields, precisely disabling its engines without destroying the ship. Hours later, the human boarding party returned with shocking news. They had captured the Brill crew, mankind's first alien prisoners. The interrogation revealed disturbing information. The Brill considered humans an infestation, guilty of stealing their technology. A battle fleet was already en route to the solar system with orders to eradicate the human vermin. Earth had less than 3 months to prepare. Standing on the bridge of the Defiance, Tom addressed the USC leadership through a comm link. "We've been given a gift," he said, gesturing to the ship around him. The one vessel the Brill thought was worthless may be the only thing that saves humanity from extinction. With knowledge of the approaching Brill fleet, Earth entered a war footing. Every resource was diverted to the Defiance project as humanity raced against time. Lisa barely slept, leading marathon engineering sessions where human creativity melded with alien technology in ways the Brill never imagined. The ship's main cannon, once deemed irreparable, now channeled power through human-designed electromagnetic accelerators, creating a weapon that exceeded its original specifications. "The output is 30% higher than what the Brill achieved," Lisa explained to Admiral Tom during one of their rare breaks. "They built everything to precise standards. We pushed the tolerances, found the hidden potential." Tom worked with USC tactical experts, studying the captured Brill and their vessel. A pattern emerged in Brill technology and tactics. "They're rigid," Tom told his officers. "Every system follows predetermined patterns. Every tactic adheres to fixed doctrines. That's why they abandoned this ship. It didn't fit their idea of how war should be fought." This insight became the cornerstone of humanity's defense strategy. While the Defiance underwent its transformation, smaller vessels were equipped with hybrid technology. A defensive fleet took shape, though still vastly outnumbered by the approaching Brill armada. Lisa's team made a critical breakthrough 3 weeks before the estimated arrival of the enemy fleet. They modified the Defiance's power core to generate an energy field that disrupted Brill's shield harmonics, a weakness wave that made their defensive systems vulnerable within a certain radius. "Will it work?" Tom asked, standing in the massive core chamber. Lisa wiped sweat from her brow. "In theory. We've never tested it against an actual Brill fleet." "Soon enough," Tom replied grimly. As the Brill ships entered the outer solar system, final modifications transformed the Defiance into something barely recognizable from its original form. Human additions and alterations covered its massive frame, turning the cast-off vessel into something entirely new. Tom addressed the crew before battle. The Brill threw away this ship because they couldn't imagine beyond their limited vision. "We've turned their trash into our treasure. Now let's show them what happens when you underestimate human ingenuity." The Brill attack force arrived in formation, 50 warships against Earth's hastily assembled fleet of 30 vessels. Only the Defiance approached their level of technology, and even that was an unknown quantity. The battle began near Neptune's orbit. The Brill commander, visible on communications channels, showed obvious shock at seeing a human crew operating a restored Brill warship. "That vessel was deemed worthless decades ago," the alien said, mandibles clicking in what might have been amusement. "Your primitive attempts to restore it will not save you." Admiral Tom didn't bother responding. Instead, he employed tactics no Brill would have considered, using the massive Defiance not as a frontline battleship, but as a force multiplier. "Activate the weakness wave," Tom ordered. The ship hummed as the modified power core channeled energy through new emitters. An invisible field expanded outward, creating windows of vulnerability in Brill shields that the smaller, faster human vessels exploited with precision strikes. The battle moved inward through the solar system, a running fight from Neptune to Jupiter's orbit. Despite clever tactics, humanity suffered heavy losses. One by one, human ships were destroyed, though they took Brill vessels with them. In engineering, Lisa coordinated teams implementing battlefield modifications based on observed Brill attack patterns. Every engagement provided data to refine their countermeasures. "Their flagship is altering course," reported the tactical officer. "It's heading straight for us." Tom nodded grimly. "They're frustrated. This isn't going according to their doctrine." The Brill flagship approached, weapons primed. This was the moment Tom had been waiting for. He'd been holding back the Defiance's main cannon, now modified beyond its original specifications. "Target their command vessel," Tom ordered. Full power to the main cannon. Energy surged through the hybrid systems. The massive cannon, once deemed obsolete by its creators, fired a beam of concentrated energy that tore through the flagship's supposedly impenetrable shields, cutting the vessel in half. The destruction of their command ship threw the Brill fleet into disarray. Their rigid tactical doctrine had no contingency for this scenario. The remaining human ships pressed the advantage, forcing the Brill into retreat. As the surviving alien vessels fled the solar system, they transmitted a final message to their homeworld. Earth had won this battle, but the war had just begun.